God, welcome back, everybody. I know you guys like to banter and chit-chat a lot on the Crucible Discord channel. So I'm thinking what I might do. I think I'm going to come up with a third channel called Recap and Lore. Because by the time you guys are all making fun of each other and posting all the cool shit, that recap was so far up the chain that I couldn't even find it.
Oh, it's there. Come on.
Absolutely.
Some of us are note takers too, so
that's fair. But the recap's mostly, to be honest, a little bit for me to kind of begin the evening and help you guys kind of trigger any memories. And after being gone for 2 weeks and off the main campaign for a little bit, it was, I kind of wanted to make sure that got out there. But yeah, welcome back. And for some of us, we are officially, what is this? This is February 23rd. Then there's March 23rd. And then there's April 26th. Uh-oh.
2 months, 3 days.
Right? That's pretty crazy.
It's crunch time. Flowers.
It is.
Pick the flowers.
Down to
Pick
it.
the cake. Pick
Tuxedo.
the reception. Pick the bartender. All that fun stuff.
We're getting into crunch time now for sure.
Flavors of vape,
Yeah,
All the deposits are due.
Yeah.
Each to their own, but just seeing you
Why do I
guys,
feel like Ryan just took an evidentiary picture of something?
Bigby is on top of a stack of boxes on the counter.
big B.
That says a lot because isn't Bigby like basically a small mountain lion?
Yeah. So
He
he's
wanted a
towering
good
up
seat
there.
for the show, right?
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's on Pride Rock right there.
Yeah.
Killing me.
Okay.
Killing me, Smells. Absolutely.
I love how Charlie's in Eric's lap, probably because they brought a new cat home. He's like, hey, remember who was here first?
it's so far, New Cat Radar. She is not a huge fan of the boys, but she's only been here a day and a half. Charlie, they've been introduced, and Charlie's just in there like, hi, and she got so terrified. Like, we have a recliner in the room where I if I'm not here, I'm sitting in here, and she got so terrified. She backed up off of it, hissing at him to the point where she fell off. It was absolutely adorable. But Charlie's just sitting there like, hey, I'm real friendly, man. It's fine.
I do like her Pac-Man pattern, though.
I don't know how permanent that is. Well, hang on, because that's I think what that is hair that hasn't.
That
grown back
cat
in.
is approaching pink eye territory there, buddy.
he's got glasses. He's got eye protection.
But I think one of her, she's been. We're at the we're at least her third set of humans. But one of them, she got surrendered because she had a bite report because her people would hand feed her human food, which is like, well, no shit.
Yeah, that's pretty stupid.
But yeah, the other thing is,
Well, if I haven't said this enough, I need to say it again. Eric, for all of the orphaned cats out there that are seeking proud parents, I'm pretty sure you are the epitome of that opportunity. Second, second only to Callista's, insistence on saving every four-legged creature in the universe because that's just the kind of person she is. But adopting old is the most difficult thing to get accomplished in the pet adoption world. It is the single hardest thing to do.
And she's not the one that we just got. She's not that old. She's about the same age as Charlie. She's about 3.5.
Well, that's good.
I said I don't know how permanent the Pac-Man pattern is because one of her other people, I think it wasn't just had her, she had like some horrible flea infestation, and they had to like shave patches of her fur.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
Oh, you know what it probably was? Because I actually had to do this to one of my cats because of the way his fur grew in. his fur grew in matted for some reason. We don't know if it's the way he was laying on something or something he got into, but his hindquarters had like a matting to it. I had to get in there with a shaver, and he had a little bald butt on his hindquarters for about 2 months, and his fur grew back in fine. So I don't know what he got into, but that's another reason why I found people will shave cats, because they get into things, their fur gets all gluey and matted, and that's the only way you can get it out, because I don't want to be scratched.
We're indoor only for all of our kitties, so it's like, no, you're fine.
Yeah, we have 5 indoor cats, and we have 6 outdoor cats. Our 6 outdoor cats are family rescues, where people have said that a parent or somebody's passed away and they don't know what to do with their cats. So we go rescue them and fix them, and then we say, look, we literally hold them and point to the 13 acres. The 13 acres is all yours. Do what you want with it. We would prefer that you eat mice and rats, leave everything else alone, and we let them become mousers. And but they're all fixed, so we don't have to worry about them kind of getting into the environment and creating more unwanted litters. So, Tally, you've got to look.
I want a
You got
pet.
to look. What's that?
I want a pet. It's not fair.
Oh,
Cat in my apartment, because my roommate already has a cat, which is cute. But I want my own doggy. It's not fair.
Well, when you're ready, I will get you one. I know plenty of places.
I will take you on that.
Yeah, and you're not that far from me. I could easily find you a puppy and get it to you for free. I just know too many people that raise dogs and puppies. Guess what we had on the farm today, on the ranch today? An entire litter of pot-bellied pigs popped out
Oh my
around
gosh.
4 o'clock in the morning. She's overdue, and it was and she had 10. One of them didn't survive. The other 9 did. But here's the weird thing I'm noticing about our pot-bellied pigs, because we have 6 of them. We've got 2 boys that we breed with the 4 girls. And so usually about every 60 to 90 days, we can get a litter, and then we sell those to kind of pay for the food costs of all the animals. It was really strange. The one that was stillborn was huge. The other 9 that came out after it were runts, every single one of them. And it looks like he was the dominant piglet in the uterus and took about 50% of the blood supply, which is why the other ones were runty when they were born, and he was massive. But we think he died because he consumed too much of the blood supply. So that when he was born and pushed out, he was squeezed so much because of his large size that it caused him to not make the birth. But the other 9 came out fine. And Calista just texted me a picture, or messaged me a picture. Mom's in there feeding them. All 9 are on there getting fed, and they're all energetic. And I was shocked. I was surprised, because our last 2 pregnancies with our other 2 pigs have not been great pregnancies. So fingers crossed, because it's $35 a pop is what we get for them. For when we sell them, is after 4 weeks, we can usually sell them for about $35 a piece. And then that person turns around and sells them for about $55. But I just don't want to take on the responsibility of selling, if that makes sense. But they're cute, they're fun. They try to eat me, and they do actively try to kill me when they get old enough. But there's nothing like carrying around a little pig that's about the size of a softball, but it sounds like a train when you carry it.
Oh my God.
This high-pitched, terrifying squeal that you would think that it's being killed or punished or something with all the noise it makes. So with that in mind, let's go back, because quite a bit happened over the 2 previous sessions on the main campaign.
Just a little.
First of all, one of the things that we now know, or at least we think we know, or maybe it means something entirely, we're not sure, because that particular sudden shock at the end of the last session, the realization when a trembling Regina looks up into the astral projection form of the Bright Queen, telling Regina that she was nothing more than a pawn of a dead man, Regina utters out, Mason is not dead. But leading up to that point, rescuing Karina finally occurred. Finding her and then rescuing her from the Chandei Quorum Tower and from whatever imprisonment she was in. The team put together a plan, snuck in, managed to free her and get away with it.
It was awesome.
It was pretty epic.
It was awesome.
However, once the team retreated back to the Prancing Centaur and began to rest and recover from the attempt and begin to get to know some of the nuance of real Karina versus other Karina. I'm sure at some point we'll figure that out. We begin to learn a little bit more about the mystery of Karina, but there's still enough mystery there that we're not entirely sure what's going on. It wasn't until the failed attempt of Regina Greencloak to get rid of Karina, who is under the orders of a Chandei Quorum lord that goes by the name of Lord Kalian Valoris, that we begin to now piece some of these pictures together. We now know that Regina was responsible for bringing Karina out of her exile out in the Hellcatch Valley, and a bastion of protection that she was held in that was believed to be a place that Mason once called or used as a headquarters or a possible location to practice whatever dark arts he actually practices. That part's not entirely known. It would then seem that Lord Kalian Volaris has hired Regina to work with the Ivory Syndicate and seems to be in the process of trying to plunge Jrusar into chaos. And all this began at about the time that Jaman Saord had arrived to try to force the Chandei Quorum's council back more in alignment with Ank'Harel and provide an opportunity of stability. And clearly Jaman Saord believes this to be possible because they were present at the funeral pyre of those that perished in the explosion, listening to the priest give this amazing eulogy and talking about unification and coming back together and bringing Jrusar out of its dark age of criminal syndicates and into the light in the beacon of Ank'Harel. Jaman Saord has even had limited contact with some of you, and the impression seems to be that they are eager to try to get Jrusar back into the fold of the jewel of Marquet, the great city of Ank'Harel. However, with Regina now captured, admitting to all of this, and also admitting that Karina, the one that was rescued, is actually the child of Lord Kalian Valoris. But
Well, he's the child of his wife and Mason, right?
correct.
Yeah.
Correct. Bright Queen's astral projection looks at all of you. More importantly, looks at Foreign, a person that she is familiar with. As the words "Mason is not dead" are uttered, the scowl and concern on the Bright Queen's face is very obvious to interpret. Whether or not Jaman Saord has been supplanted by a doppelganger or changeling, whether or not Regina Greencloak has been successful in eroding at the power base of Jrusar, she is frightened, and the Bright Queen is angry at this. The Bright Queen looks away from Karina, away from Greencloak, stares at Fawn. Fawn, two of my green blades will be there in the morning to collect her. You will hand Regina over to them, and they will bring her to me. I will find all the answers we need as it relates to this Mason business. She's not to be out of your sight. She's not allowed to be unbound. You will keep her under your guard. Do you understand me, Fawn?
Fawn answers back in Sylvan. Of course, my queen. I understand clearly. But with all of this new information, how can I trust your green blades?
These particular green blades are incredibly trustworthy. They serve at the behest of a union of agreements that makes it impossible for them to be otherwise. You need not worry about that. What I need you and your friends to do, if they feel up to the task, I need you to discover whether or not anything that Regina has said here is true or not. I am most readily concerned about Jaman Sa'ord. I have a couple people I need to reach out to ask questions of. Both Jester and Ford should be able to aid me in this understanding of this concern. But do not rush into a decision. Do not rush into anything that will threaten what we've begun to understand here. I will not make any requests of the person that you have saved from the Chandei Quorum. That is your business and your friend's business. You watch as the Bright Queen looks over to other Karina, and then back to the actual Karina.
Other Karina is looking very protective of Karina. No chance in hell she's letting anybody take her anywhere.
So, discover if the truth of Jaman's order is correct. Look into this Lord Kalian Valoris of the Chandei Quorum. See who they were conspiring with House Loomis and the Ivory Syndicate to undermine House Loomis. There's a power play at motion here, but it feels more like a slow boil than it does a sudden urgency. If we move too quickly and too rashly, I'm afraid things will be discovered and people will crawl away before they can be identified. Subtlety, Fawn. I know this is difficult for you, Fawn. Subtlety. Do not go to a tall building, stare through your scope, and tell yourself, well, it's only a trigger away from solving the problem. Temperament is important.
I understand, my queen.
Well, my green blades will be there in the morning. Be cautious. My understanding is there is a particular person in accompaniment with Jaman Sa'ord that has traveled with them. He goes by the name of Antique Warmwind. He is the captain of the Hand of Ord, the organization tasked with protecting Jaman Sa'ord. They are brash, they are dangerous, and they are dedicated to Jaman Sa'ord's protection. Good luck. Drop me a message, Fawn, when you have something to report. My green blades will already be ready to report once they've picked up Regina. The astral projection shimmers and kind of crackles away. It's in the middle of the night, I think, correct?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yeah.
This all happened in the middle of the night. The projection's gone, leaving the five of you alone with other Karina, or main Karina. We'll go with main Karina. And
I'm
Regina.
side Karina.
Yeah.
I also believe in my notes that Regina told us that Jaman Sa'ord was a changeling, correct?
was
That's what she
replaced. Yeah.
stated. Replaced by a changeling.
Well, a few notes I have about potential leads are Rena's parents, who must have known or have been brainwashed to believe that they are her parents. The maid that helped Corina, and the Raven Queen priestess, who Jamansa Org referenced the Raven Queen when they were giving the eulogy. And
Yep.
we know that there is one Raven Queen priestess with a mask on that we know nothing about. But I think that's the only ones I have so far.
Those seem like some good leads. What are we going to do about Karina and these other changelings that Regina says are going to follow her when she's gone?
I think we need to get out of Dodge for a little bit. We could leave the place, see if we can find some hideout for a while, see if we can covertly follow up on some leads. It feels like things moved so fast that we kind of haven't had a chance to examine all of our options, but I do think that running away right now might be our top priority.
Regina, how do you call them off?
Regina looks defeated. She looks broken. After seeing the Bright Queen and knowing what's ahead of her, that's the real problem. You see, we made all these plans isolated from each other to prevent exactly what could have happened tonight. I'm unable to reveal proof of any of this to you because I don't know when, where, or how things are happening. I have my orders from his lordship, and I'm to follow them to the letter. If Karina was broken out of the prison in the Chandei Quorum Tower, I was told at the very beginning of this journey, by no circumstance could she ever be allowed to return to where she came from. Therefore, I came here to kill her. If possible, and with hope, I was meant to kill all of you as well. Cover the tracks, hide the evidence. You see, I think Lord Valen has a problem. His relationships are not dynastic within the Chandei Quorum. He is, shall we say, broke cultural rules. If this ever gets out, it would erode his power with the Chandei Quorum, and his family could be supplanted. I think that's why he hired me, to cause some chaos. Secretly, I think his intent was to bring Karina from the Bastion and have her secretly dealt with. I'm only guessing at that because, once again, when plans were set in motion, we were all spoken to separately and not allowed to speak with each other about our plans, so that if one or more than one of us were captured, we would not truly understand what the others were doing.
If that's the case, how do you expect they're going to come for us?
My absence is going to be your biggest problem. My absence will be noticed and they will have to respond accordingly. You watch as Regina looks over at the changeling Karina, and there's a brief notion of like cultural connection. Like Karina the changeling has lived a very guarded lifestyle of subterfuge and kind of creating the idea of multiple personalities, multiple identities to always remain in control of their environment. For that brief moment, Karina, you and Regina share a common notion.
Gross.
It's unfortunate, but it's kind of true when it comes to changelings. Changelings are looked at with very skewed perspective in the world. Some believe that's why there's so few of them, because either they live in hiding for their entire lives, or when they're discovered, they run, or sometimes end up in prisons or murdered because of who they are. They're dangerous individuals as far as societies are concerned because they fear them. They fear their capabilities. They fear what they can do. And fear is a strong driving force for changelings to get a bit of revenge on these societies that have made them outcasts. Your friend here has my blood. She should become me, I think. If they think I'm still operating in the city, I don't think they'll come after you.
Does Kalian know who took Karina? Or does he just know she was taken?
He knows that the form of Regina Greencloak took her. Sorry. I don't think they know that you took her. I was able to track her by different means. My organization, while we have to do what we're told because Kaylin is our current holder of the purse, as they say. Kaylin knows who I am. If I return without proof that Karina is dead, my organization will know that I've died or perished or captured. They will figure out how to find you through my, how shall we say, the notion of where I last was.
What proof would be required?
I don't know if any of you are silver-tongued. A mere finger won't be missed, or a eye or ear, I suppose.
Foreign, you got some tooth you can hand out?
Sure.
If you think that would suffice, and it could be a good offer of communication too, in case this is some sort of trap. We need Regina, with all due respect, you are a dangerous person. And I want you to know if anything happens to Karina while she's acting as you, you'll be in more trouble than you are now.
Well, I can appreciate that, Angel Boy. I can assure you, where I'm going is far worse than anything any of you can do to me today.
Well, what
Don't
if
get
you
me
didn't
wrong.
have to be there?
What do you mean?
I mean,
What do you mean?
I love it.
I mean, why not negotiate?
I don't think you understand the Bright Queen's negotiations. For all we know, she does not know that you're also a changeling, and that is perhaps a good thing right now. I've not shared it. I will not share it.
She's a slippery person. Slippery people disappear every day.
I won't fail her again.
Karina is sending message. I am lying to her. She is gonna fry. I'm just trying to get her out.
Then hit me.
Oh, okay. I slap him.
Like, and I
Don't
like,
talk to me like this again.
and I just kind of stumble backwards, feigning this shit.
You guys need to give me deception or performance at this point to make sure that this is coming off correctly.
Uh-huh. I'm gonna go deception.
Okay.
Can I give advantage to someone by once again just genuinely not understanding that it's a bit? Just being like,
Yeah, that's because you probably don't know that it's a bit.
Yeah.
They're just talking to each other. Yeah.
That would be great.
I would say that both Karina and Foreign would gain advantage because they're doing this without letting the rest of the group in on it. So
Mhm.
it's like to create more of a genuine outcome.
24. Thank you for the
Nice.
advantage.
Yes, thank you for the advantage. It's 17, but also, how hard did you hit me? Because I don't have much HP left. That was kind of the reason. That really was part of it.
Like, this is a genuine fight.
For real, that was part of it. Was maybe you'd hit me hard enough that I would actually get knocked out.
Oh, you can.
I would
pretend
describe
to
it as
knock
one
out.
just like 1 hit point of damage. Just
Okay. Well,
like a
that's
heavy-handed kind of smack across the face.
Yeah. But I kind of roll back and fall over to the corner. But look up,
He forgets himself. So let's talk.
Regina begins to relax a little bit. She eyes Foreign and realizing just how injured Foreign was from the surprise attack this evening, looks back at you with a kind of sense of there's a notion in her face that she's got a little bit more respect for you as a changeling.
Slapping really works.
respect as a changeling.
Yeah.
Oh.
You almost get the feeling like she's a little confused as to why you would work with these normies. Why don't you stick with your own kind?
Sure. Well, if it works for my advantage. Listen, we both know the deal, and I have no ill will to you beyond the situation we found ourselves in. So tell me, what do I need to do to get these assholes off our back? And you'll do what you need to do, and we'll do what we need to do, and we don't talk again.
Like I said, if I don't appear before Kaelin tomorrow, report on Karina's either recapture or death, I have no idea what the others are going to do or when it's going to happen.
Where are you supposed to meet?
In the Chandei Quorum council chamber of Valens himself, in the morning, 9 o'clock. That's when he arrives, and that's when he would expect me to arrive and inform him of the outcome of this evening.
What are your ideas?
You do not turn me over to the Bright Queen. You allow me to escape. I agree never to step foot in Jrusar ever again, and I simply disappear.
That doesn't seem very reliable. I mean, you could just go there and say that we're still here. I mean, it would be better for you to do that. So, unless you give us a way to get you out, you're going to the Bright Queen.
You've not really dealt with your own kind before, have you? Do you have a given name? Or have you lost yourself to the impersonation?
It's cute that you think you can ask me questions, lady.
She stares and then she kind of smiles back at you. Fascinating. You don't know your own kind.
I don't care to know my own kind, and I especially don't care to know you more than I have to, so unless you give us a better option, I'm afraid our conversation is over.
Option number 2 is you pretend to be me, take some form of proof back to Lord Kellyan. That secures your friend from being hunted down, your other friends from being hunted down. Then you let me go. That way you have proof of its success before you agree to my half of the bargain, which is simply to allow me to escape, never to darken your doorstep again.
I don't know. How do I know that that's not a trap? Maybe there is a secret word or something.
I am at an impasse with you. I can neither convince you one way or the other. I can only provide you with what my word as a changeling to another changeling affords me to be able to do.
Does any of us have, like, zone of truth or any way to confirm that this wouldn't be a trap?
She's still under the effect of suggestion, and so she's supposed to be compliant with us.
Yep.
But I think Storyteller said it wouldn't like force her to be truthful. So I can't force her to like tell the truth 100% just to be cooperative.
Makes sense. Okay, well, if I
Right.
Well, that seems to be the case. I mean,
Yeah.
zone of truth, detect thoughts, those feel like the only measure of being able to prove the fact that she's telling the truth.
Okay, but remember, if I die, you die.
Oh, there's no doubt in my mind. If you die, I die. I get that. If I go back with the Green Blades in the morning, I suffer a fate worse than death.
Well, then that should be plenty of motivation to help us. What kind of proof would you bring? What would be sufficient?
Kind of proof that I would bring to Lord Kellyan?
Yes. What would be sufficient to show that you were successful?
A finger or an ear, I suspect.
Does it have to be from the actual Karina, or...
Unfortunately, I need something to take back with me from the actual Karina, because when I present it to Lord Kellyan, he is a practiced wizard. He will cast Identify on it, and that will tell him where it's from. You have healers with you, do you not?
We do. I just don't like the idea of hurting her.
I merely tell you or suggest to you what I can and can't do. You can either pretend to be me and do it yourself, or I can do it myself. Either way, these are your only two options. The third option is you do nothing. You keep Karina safely hidden. The others think I am dead, and you are hunted by a band of changelings until they are done killing you. All of you.
Is there anything else that would help us help you?
No, I feel I've been cooperative enough. Strangely calm and cooperative, actually.
Don't think about that.
Don't worry about it.
It's the lavender incense. It always does that. to people.
That's so true.
I think we should set someone to watch her, and we should go talk.
Lauren, please be as trigger happy as you feel like being.
Of course.
And I apologize for smacking you. That was out of... I'm very emotional. It won't happen again.
Yeah. We'll see.
You can't actually eat. You guys hands on a magnet. Sorry.
I'll sit with Regina, and I just have my pistol out, sitting across my lap.
Okay. I don't like this plan, but I'm gonna do it unless somebody has a better plan that they want to suggest.
So leaving Thorn guarding Regina, the
Mhm.
5 of you, real Karina, all go out to the veranda of the second floor that you're currently on. Like the common room and the veranda that combine to kind of be where you can meet. What do you guys want to talk about?
Do we still feel safe here?
I think it sounds like we don't have anything to prevent scrying, so I think that our best bet is to make Lord Callion very comfortable that Karina is dead. That's sort of, I don't see any other avenue. I think we just have to convince him that everything's fine, and then we need to disguise Karina and maybe long term get her out of here, but short term we just need to get him off our trail.
Are we worried he's going to come here and investigate any further?
Not if Karina does a good job, which I'm sure she will.
I don't like this plan. Can somebody suggest literally any other plan?
Yeah.
I've died so many times. I don't want to die anymore. I'm tired. Obviously I'll do it, but I do think that we might need to disappear for a while. We can try to go to the Hellcatch Valley and get in contact with your sister. I feel like she might know more than we think, and it does seem like a lot of issues have originated there, or at the very least, like we could find some information out while we're disappearing.
I think someone just wants to find Puck again.
Maybe.
Don't you think if we're on the move, like if we leave abruptly, that could be a little suspicious? I don't really know the Bright Queen that well, but she seemed like she was really authoritative, and she said not to make any sudden moves.
I guess my concern is that Regina would probably pretend like she's killed all of us, right? I mean, they'd be able to come and investigate if we're here.
Are you really thinking of letting Regina free?
No, but I
We did give her.
cooperated if she thought she had a chance.
Preston just looks at Korea just utterly disappointed. We gave her our word.
I'm sure she gave her word to many people before she killed them. She'll understand.
I'm worried about any repercussions from the Bright Queen. I'm sorry, Karina. I know this is very taxing for you, but
I'm
not. I'm glad I'm not in the shoes of a changeling currently.
maybe. I guess my concern in staying here is that it's still pretty vulnerable. But maybe even just Karina and I will just get out of Dodge for a little bit. It just seems dangerous to stay here when it feels like they know that we are based here and that they can imagine that we wouldn't just let Karina go.
Well, if Regina's telling the truth, they don't know where she went, and they don't know who we are.
That's true.
There's nothing to tie us to her.
Well, I'll trust you guys on this, but I still think that it might be worth just leaving town for a little bit. Just long enough for them to think we're dead.
I
Does that
can't
mean that
let you do this. But
pretending that I saw her run away and killed her out in the street or something? With like nobody else attached? Like, what's my story?
Well, if you're going in as Regina, you could say, yeah, that she had been, captured by a couple of people from whatever random group. And, a couple of these green blades, the Bright Queen's green blades. And then, you killed them and you killed Karina and you buried her, but, here's a piece of her finger. And, it's all buttoned up and you're going to go back to doing chaos things in Jrusar.
Sounds tight. Is anybody gonna just be in my general vicinity in case I do not get like just double ones?
I was planning on sending Brightquill with you. I mean, I don't feel comfortable sending the two of you off by yourselves like that. I understand having my presence there might complicate things, but having a griffin in your back pocket, so to speak, I can't. I feel like that's going to be a little bit more comfortable for all of you. Plus, he's quite dependable and weirdly knowledgeable about the arcane. Never really offered that to me, but
I mean, he did
I think
kill my
that's a
crow,
wonderful
but
idea.
I'll let it go.
It's a wonderful idea.
Yep.
Trust me.
Will he be disguised as something other than a griffin?
I don't know if he can do that. I don't have the ability to disguise him.
Well, you can't. The out of character, the like find steed, you can summon as like basically any creature,
Not just
or not any creature. Well, it's technically only like it's
a list of choices you can choose from.
Yeah.
so the way it's set up. It says, let's see. You summon an otherworldly being that appears as a loyal steed in an unoccupied space of your choice. The creature uses the otherworldly steed stat block. So the creature type, I guess, is just flavor. They say the steed resembles a large rideable
Right.
animal of your choice, such as a horse, a camel, a dire wolf, or an elk.
Correct.
So I would think, in theory, he could be something other than a griffin. Like, an elk.
Yeah, he could be an elk. He could be a traditional horse. He could be, any kind of summoned steed-like creature. It doesn't have to be a griffin, but it was the flavor that was kind of fun that a bird rides a bird, or
Mhm.
a bird rides a part bird, part lion. That's always fun to kind of
Is
put
there
together.
any concern? Is that with this steed? Is this something that Killian, being a practiced magician, could detect anything suspicious of it, or we need to take into account his powers too?
That's why I'm a little worried about, like, I would like to be there with you, but I'm worried that if I had a disguise on, he would just see through it.
Makes sense.
I'd also say, as far as you know, the Chandei Quorum Council Chamber is a large, viewable space that you can watch the council meet and discuss what's going on. Karina would be meeting Lord Kalen in his own private chamber, is where he works out of. It's possible you guys could linger and be around the main council chamber in some disguised form. The only that, at least puts you within proximity in case she gets in trouble.
Yeah, that'd be good.
Yeah.
Thanks. And I will grill Regina just a little bit longer for details as far as like, how do I get there? What are her mannerisms? Is she expecting to be paid? Just like anything small I can think of that might give her away.
Yeah, I mean, Regina pretty much advised you to be an asshole.
Oh, nice. Oh, in my wheelhouse.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of, Regina is all swagger, confidence, grift, all the things that you kind of secretly want to be, but you just don't show it.
How dare you imply that we have anything in common?
Do we have time to finish a long rest before we go? Or does it seem like we kind of have to get on the move?
Oh, no, the fight only took like a minute and a half.
Oh, excellent.
The interrogation and the conversation in this is less than an hour. So, I mean, you could all still settle in for your long rest and then, wake up the following morning and head up to the Chandei Quorum via the gondolas and see what Karina can pull off.
Awesome.
Okay, I'm just gonna look at my spells to see if there's anything. Okay.
Does anyone have any buffs that they can give Karina? I don't really. I have stuff that's like 1 minute, which is not good enough.
Yeah, that's like
I have
blasphemy.
a 10-minute one that I could give her, but
What about enhanceability?
Ooh. That would probably be helpful if it's possible. If not, I have a Misty Step and a bunch of stuff to just kind of zap them with. I think that's and invisibility.
I have an array of smites should things go wrong.
Whoa!
And mine
Okay,
are
no.
all like, well,
Now I'm feeling okay.
yeah, I don't have like mine are healing related. You know, when I'm thinking my channel divinity, like if I know something's going wrong, I can burst in there and try to heal you as quick as possible. But
You could do enhanceability, right? That's a cleric spell.
yeah, how long does that last for though?
I think it's an hour.
Remember, you could also potentially buff her once you're at the council chamber.
Yeah.
Okay, and I guess now we just need to cut one of Karina's fingers or ear, and then just
Yeah.
like pull it back immediately.
You can ask her.
Is Karina sitting here the whole time?
Yeah, she's sitting right next to you. Yeah.
Professor is just like aghast, just like this is just beyond the, like people. No, you really want to mutilate this poor young lady?
On our way back, I'm gonna pick up some hair dye. We're gonna find a new hair color for you. We'll do your makeup. You'll look really cute, and no one will recognize you. It's gonna be great. All right, so do we go to sleep and get ready for tomorrow?
Not me.
Oh,
I'm up all night. Give me
Aw.
coffee. Give me all the coffee.
Who and
That's
how are
pretty
you
good.
guys taking
Yeah.
one of real Karina's fingers? Who's getting involved in that?
This kind of
Yeah,
feels
this
like
is-
it should be. It feels like it should be an Eritrea thing, right?
I kind of feel like this should be like
Like it feels like you want a doctor on this, right?
I was gonna say like I kind of feel like this should be a let Karina decide this, like actual facts free and be like, hey, how do you want to play this? Because like it's
Well,
yes,
she's
you
been
have
listening to
to
this
do
whole conversation. I would say she owes her freedom to you guys. Make a group persuasion. All 5 of you roll persuasion, and we'll figure out what are the highest collective roll is, and we'll see her insight check on that.
20.
Okay,
dirty 20.
nice,
24.
Hey,
nice.
all right. Let me not let down the group here.
I mean, we are like
Oh,
we're all charisma people.
I gotta-
except our trio, maybe.
I got a 26 or 23.
Whoa.
23. Oh, now we just need Eritrea to roll. And
Yeah,
let's
all
see
right.
if-
what are we rolling
let's
for?
see if he rolls a natural
Roll-
1.
roll
Just drops
persuasion.
everything
Eric
down.
Trail
Persuasion.
rolls that one.
Well, remember, because just not to throw it too much, but the professor was advising, not like, to
9.
involve her in this as
9.
much as possible. Like, I don't particularly want to cut her goddamn fingers off. Like, that sounds barbaric.
It's
Not
for her own
fingers,
good.
finger.
Yeah, 1 finger, and we'll probably grow it back.
She's scared, but she gets it. If it means she can finally be free of all this nonsense and go into hiding, she's willing to take the risk.
Yeah, and I'll heal you right up. Don't you worry.
So,
I'll do it.
Eritrea,
I'll
give
do
me a
it.
medicine check as you begin to watch. Who's doing the cutting? Is that Eritrea doing the cutting
I'll
as
do
well?
it. I'll do
Foreign,
it.
you'll do the
Come on,
cutting?
I'll do it. Come here.
Okay.
I'm
I got an
sorry.
11 on medicine. I did not roll well,
Okay.
but I have a +6.
No, I mean the average would be a 10. I would,
All right.
I would say that you recall that limbs only grow back through raised dead, reincarnation, and stuff like that. You'll heal her, but healing her doesn't grow her finger back. It just heals over the wound so that her hand is still functional, everything will be fine.
Yeah.
For the proof of life, Foreign, give me a sleight of hand, if you would, please.
Yep. Oof, not great. That's 9.
I would say you have the help action from probably Melody and Karina, because even though they don't want to do it, I would say that they're trying to help you. So you can go ahead and try another roll with advantage.
Sure. That's an 18 then. I have a
Okay.
+7. I rolled a 2.
I was gonna say you have a pretty good sleight of hand. That was pretty bizarre.
Well, and flavor wise, Foreign was gonna be like, look, just put your hand up here on the table, put your pinky out, curl your knuckles down. I'm gonna put the blade right here, and I'm gonna use the butt of my pistol.
I feel like while you're explaining it, you just do it.
Yeah, right. But it's one of these, like, I'm not trying to saw it or anything. Like, he's trying to make it a clean, just a bam, like a one hit and it's gone kind of thing,
Like
And
getting your
instead of-
ears pierced.
I got you.
Yeah, it's just like literally, I put her hand on the table,
Professor
the
Jalbatros,
pinky's out, and he just
watching this all play out. I need you to give me a charisma save, if you would, please.
Oh,
That's charisma save. I'm actually-
Charisma save.
Yes. That wasn't great. That's only a 10 with a +7
10?
modifier.
While this is not exactly what has happened in your past, it reminds you about a portion of your past of some significant brutality and how you found your way from your old life to your new life, because I don't want to give away any spoilers. But
That's not me. That's Giancarlo.
oh shit, that's the wrong one. I'm sorry. Yeah, sorry. I was thinking of why do I have Giancarlo in my backstory notes and I don't have yours?
You should. I'll send it to you again.
Yeah, because why do I have Giancarlo? Giancarlo is so much more interesting.
the question is why don't you have Giancarlo?
Right. No shit.
I'll just copy and paste the backstory. It was when we were thinking he might. There was some possibility that the person was going to die in another thing. So it's like, okay. But
yeah. But you do find this situation a bit cringy for you. It's beyond academia understanding, and why would anyone logically give up the use of their finger for this? So I would say it still holds true to your notion that you feel it's not necessary.
I don't think he's not so much put off by the process. It's the fact that that the rest of the group has kind of made this choice for Karina. I don't think she's really been involved in the process at all. It's just like, oh, we're gonna cut your finger off, and he's.
We can ask her how she feels about it if you want to stop us.
One thing I did, I'm just sending you the professor's backstory.
Okay.
Yeah, but that's would my lay on hands be able to regrow a severed ear or a severed finger?
Mm-mm. It's only that regeneration. It's only that good regeneration. We do have a friend in one of the temples, right? That's really good at bringing people back from the dead, and
I don't trust any of those people.
So we go ahead with and
it's super quick. It's a quick movement of the blade. Arturo invokes the healing. There's almost like no time to blink and see it happen. It just happens, and there's her finger just kind of lying on the table. That you all gotta look over at Karina, who's gonna pretend to be Regina, because she's gonna have to carry it with her.
Kragina. It sounds better than Rarina.
Melody would throw a decorative hair scarf down on it right away so that Karina doesn't have to look at it.
Okay. Well, we apologize to Karina profusely, and we assure her that it's literally only so she will be left alone.
Maybe they'll write a song about me, Karina of the Nine Fingers.
Ooh, that has a cool ring to it.
I mean,
We'll find you
if
another
plan to
thing.
just keep 9
promise.
fingers, we're going to pay to get your finger back. But if you want to keep it 9, go ahead.
Don't think it's wise to put my safety at risk trying to get my finger back. I feel like, I don't know, it's a sacrifice I can make. You freed me from my imprisonment. I'm no longer under the control of Mason's existence, and I'm no longer missing. I'm back. So I it's a sacrifice, but I appreciate your concern, Professor, and allowing me to also afford an opinion on the matter. But remaining safe and keeping all of you safe, I think, is the price to pay.
And we still need to talk about where you would like to go after this and who would you like to be. And we will find you a place where you're happy, I promise.
I appreciate that. Don't be too hard on my adoptive parents, Karina. I'm not sure how much they truly know. As far as they know, you're still their child, right?
Karina feels very guilty about that because she feels like if she would have just told them that she's not Karina, they would have probably like grieved for her, tried to find her. Like she really feels like she stole her life.
Well, you kind of did, right?
No, she did. She fully did. She should have come
yeah,
clean,
right,
she did not.
right. And now you're stuck in that gray area of like, oh shit, so she gets to be free, and now I'm trapped.
We have much to discuss, and I think we should, just as soon as we know that we're safe.
I'm going to get some sleep then. She kind of picks herself up, gingerly carries her hand with her, and disappears into Karina's room to get some sleep. Born will be staying up all night with Regina. Born, give me a Constitution save.
Yep. Oh. 3.
You have a point of exhaustion.
All right.
Everyone else, click off a long rest as you wake up the next morning. You meet in the second floor veranda. Binder has already opened up the shop. You can hear the busy crowds coming and going down below as it's early in the morning. The city is back to being awake all around you as you begin to make preparations to go to the Chandei Quorum. Go ahead, Professor.
I was going to say, like, the professor doesn't really need a long rest. I was going to, partially to kind of throw Regina off her game, just kind of sit there and ask her some questions that he is genuinely curious about. But also, like, let Ford take a break, because the professor's in good shape, so it's like, Ford.
Ford, do you know how long's your long rest normally? 4 hours?
No, because it's still the regular 8.
That's right. I will say that Professor Jrusar decides to give you a break and watch her for a few hours. Therefore, you have advantage on the con save, so you can roll again to see if you can avoid exhaustion.
11.
I mean, I put the DC at a 12. The first time.
I'm exhausted. I'm exhausted. Yeah.
I'll put the DC slightly lower to 10. So I'll say as long as if you don't get a long rest in the next day, you will automatically just take a point of exhaustion.
Sure.
But his break that he gives you allows you to get a few hours of sleep. Professor Jrusar, what do you ask Regina during your portion of the watch?
The main point of this is genuinely just to kind of, I know the professor doesn't trust her at all, like especially after the things that went on with.
I'm pretending to be her, and I don't trust her.
Yeah, so and trying to look as how tall is she in the form that she's?
I mean, she's in great shape. I mean, she's 6 feet tall. She's wiry. You know, she's that kind of strong muscle wiry. She's an athlete. She's someone that's fast, clever, and she contracts out to the highest bidder that wants to use her skills for whatever purpose those skills are meant to be used for. So she's a professional.
I just wanted to know how she what she looks like in scale to the professor. So she's in.
But currently, she's sitting in a chair, trussed up to prevent her ability to escape.
Like her
so you're definitely you're now 3 feet taller than her because she's sitting down.
But yeah. So the professor just kind of takes out his maul, just kind of looks at it, then just slams it on the ground in front of her, just perches on it, sits his hands up. So, I'm thinking that interaction you had with our Karina, the one that we know as Karina, is that typically how changelings interact with others? This is not my particular area of study, but this is fascinating. I don't think there's any literature on this. I would love.
Are you going for persuasion or intimidation?
I was originally going to try for intimidation because I am just a massively built up guy with a huge hammer, but like this is much more to just try to throw her off completely. So I'll try for persuasion.
Okay, go for it. Give me a persuasion check. And I'll say you have advantage on this.
Okay. Well, I'll probably need that. But...
Why do we get the feeling that Eritrea is afraid that he's skirting with the dark side of things?
That's why he's trying to be intimidating. Like when he tried to threaten Regina, and everyone's like, "Okay, little boy, you don't know what the break we can be."
That was
that's how I felt like Ford's reaction was to like, okay.
Right. Regina listens to your. Yeah, she listens to your speech. Well, our kind. We share a common bloodline. Changelings believe that they're all interconnected, organically and naturally. We are inherently predisposed to help and protect each other, whether we truly want to or not. We are, after all, magical creatures, rare magical creatures. What your friend Karina doesn't understand is that while I would gladly sell the rest of you out for a copper coin, culturally, I'm compelled to stand by her side, even if we both die doing it.
This is absolutely fascinating. I'm going to have to run this by some of my peers, but again, there's no literature that I've seen on this. This isn't my field. This is much more,
Professor,
I don't have
what
much
exactly is your field?
Cross-planar archaeology.
Cross-planar archaeology.
Yes. I study civilizations on different planes. That's actually what brought me here, if you must know, but...
Oh, I must. Tell me more.
Well, we don't really know. There's some kind of archaic ruins out in the waste. I was heading an expedition there with a group of my students, and something happened 4 weeks ago, and not entirely sure. I was able to shepherd them out, but I wasn't able to make it through myself. I've been wandering ever since. Met up with these interesting people, and now you see me here.
Yes, I do see you here. You're not like them, are you?
I mean, in the sense that I'm Eric Coker and an academic.
No. Why is everyone so insistent on identity? No, not that you're not physically like them. Of course you're not. You're a bird, or a semblance of a bird, I guess. You're intelligent. They seem very simple compared to your obvious intelligence.
That's unfair.
Oh no, she's slaughtering him.
That is unfair. There are many different types of intelligence. I am.
But now you are underselling your capacity and your capabilities, Professor.
I know when I'm a university person. I know when someone is trying to butter me up. It doesn't work then. It's not working now. You're trying to
don't see
exploit the
why-
moment of genuine curiosity to.
Well, this, of course, I'm answering your questions. I'm reaffirming that what you truly believe in, which is you truly believe yourself to be intelligent, and I'm merely stating, of course, you're intelligent. Look, very highly intelligent and capable people will sometimes find themselves surrounded by simpletons because it makes them feel safe. It makes them feel as if, they're more capable and more secure in their relationships with people. Clearly, your high capacity and high potential for academics and aesthetics would be very well received amongst my people.
I'm trying to think. I, as the player, very much feel like she's trying to get in my head, butter me up. So, could I roll for insight or?
Yeah, just insight checker. See what she's up to. Yeah.
Okay. Which sucks because my wisdom is very, very low.
Well,
Sorry. Where are you? That is an 8. I'm sorry. That is a 17 with my -1 with
Ooh.
insight.
okay.
Yeah.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, you get the feeling she's fucking with you.
So what I want to do is, again, I've just been kind of having my hands perched on top of my flame maul. I don't want to actively hurt her, but because it is the thing I can do is I can make flames kind of spread out from it. Can I try to make it like encircle us both? Like not in a way that would harm us, but just kind of a show of.
Well, now you're in the realm of intimidation if you start doing that.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah. So
Are you asking her something specifically at the same time, or
No.
just? Okay.
This is just like a "don't fuck with me" kind of intimidation, and it.
Okay. Give me an intimidation check as you flourish a ring of fire around both of you. It kind of spikes up and kind of flares and settles and kind of boils back into the maul.
That is a 23.
I get your point. I shall, how shall we say, remain silent.
I'm loath to do harm to any sentient creature that hasn't done any to me, but well, you have, haven't you? It is against all of my instincts to harm a captive, but don't play me. You're not the first person to try this. This is every year at exam time.
Most serious situation. The scariest character.
Oh my god,
Don't be
Karina,
waking up
that was
20
the
years
most
from now,
epic
still dreaming about
raspberry I think I've ever heard.
I was shook. It's true. There, after dealing with students, nothing can rattle this.
With that, you wrap up your questioning, and Foreign comes back to conclude his watch, and you guys are once again all up down in the common space of the second floor. The city is alive, the shop is open, and it's another day.
Since we took a long rest, does that mean that my crow is back?
If you summon him, sure.
I would like to summon him and ask
Okay.
what happened, because I believe he was killed when he was about to scout the Chandei Quorum.
Oh, yeah, well, thing is, there was a tasty morsel. There was a dead rat in an alley. I went down to pick it up to have a bit of a snack. I didn't see the cats. Sorry, they got me.
You continue to disappoint me.
Yeah, I
Evil.
know, don't I? It's pretty cool. I'll try to do better.
Well, if you're gonna try to do better, can you promise me that you will keep an eye on the real Karina while I'm gone?
Oh, yeah, no problem.
If anything at all looks like a threat, kill it. And just let me know if it feels like I should be coming back to help with her.
You watch as the mostly undead-looking crow flies over to sit on Karina's shoulder. Karina's got this look of dread, like she now has a close-up view of evil, and she's just like looking at like his half maggoty face and his patches of feathers, a little bit of skin and bone poking through, and Evil like snuggles into her neck and goes, "Oh yeah, I'll take good care of her. I'll make sure nothing happens to her for you, man. I got it. It's gonna be fine. Yeah, don't worry, it'll be fine."
I tell her to trust him and that I promise I'll be back soon and we'll figure everything out. And like she hugs her and just like apologizes profusely. Just need to
Okay.
finish this and then we'll be done.
Okay, I gives Evil a weird look, but then like, I sure I get it.
He's actually a sweetheart. The only reason he's called Evil is because I really like this film, Fright Night, and there's a character called Evil Ed.
Okay, I don't know what a film or Fright Night is, but okay, I'll go along with whatever you say.
A moving picture.
So with that, you leave the shop with Binder and Karina and Evil. Is everyone heading to the Chandei Quorum council chambers at this
Oh,
point?
I'm
I don't
staying
think we would
shop
send
with Regina.
everyone. Yeah,
Yeah.
if Regina hasn't been picked up yet,
Yes.
someone has to stay.
Oh, that would happen before you guys leave. So yeah,
Okay.
at some point,
Oh, okay.
and they look cool. Like these elves dressed in like dull gray blue armor with small crests of the Bright Queen kind of emblems on their chest. They have really long, dark purple hair that's pulled back in a ponytail. They wear metal face masks with strange kind of opaque goggles that they wear over their eyes because it's very bright here in Jrusar and warm. You can see a combination of tattoos and scarification like on their arms and neck that show their allegiance to the Bright Queen. But the rarest thing they have is you notice that the weapons that they carry, the blades are made of green glass.
Ooh.
They don't utter a word. They simply take possession of Regina. You watch as one of them reads a scroll. A teleportation circle burns in front of both of them. They step into it with her and disappear.
They don't attract any attention at all.
Yeah, they're really low key.
Is the plan still to say that that's the people I saw taking Corina, or do we want to pin it on some other group?
I guess maybe we don't
Well-
want to signal the Bright Queen's involved.
I mean, we do have that asshole Air Genasi around here.
I'm concerned that he's also under their employee and that they'd be able to find him quick and get information out of him.
But he works for the Ivory Syndicate, right? So the Ivory Syndicate's not directly responsible to the Chandei Quorum, and that guy is quite an asshole. And it
And
seems
Regina
like he is
describes
very
her group.
self.
Yeah, Regina described her group as very independent.
Okay, yeah, that actually sounds like a great idea. Also, it would be nice if he dies, so
Right. So we just give him the opportunity to happen sooner.
I'm a fan. And I'm familiar with
You
his
shot
friends.
you. I'm down.
So is the story that he like ran away and you managed to take down Karina?
I guess I briefly spoke with a couple of people who were with him, including the person. Let me get his name.
Wait. I thought you said you're gonna go as Corinna, and then we're gonna say the Air Genasi is the one that stole Corinna. I mean, you're going
She's
as
gonna
Regina.
go as
I'm sorry.
Regina.
And say that the Air Genasi asshole stole Corinna for something, but you didn't quite get the answer out of him before he slipped out of your grasp. But you did manage to kill Corinna in the process.
That sounds good. I've seen a couple of other people who hung out with him. I know the name of one other, so maybe I can just kind of describe all of them. And
I imagine they all know each other too. Regina and old Blusterface. Forgot his name now. It'll come to me.
yeah.
Trafar? The Air Genasi?
Yeah, Trafar? Isn't that what it is?
Trafar Airswift?
Yes.
Yes.
Air Swift. Yep.
That son of a bitch.
I'll describe their band and what they look like. I don't know if she'd know. Would she know his name? Should
I
probably ask.
imagine she'd know him. Sure.
Possible. I mean, the Ivory Syndicate's a pretty major group of ne'er-do-wells and people who are in the business of doing crime and influencing people on the streets of Jrusar. They just happen to be more vested and more funded and kind of stronger than the other groups in the area. With House Loomis being taken down there, and also with the Hubatt Corsairs going into hiding, you know, they're kind of, it was a major power play. They're kind of the big deal on the streets right now.
Okay, well,
So, do we think that Trafar Airswift is part of the Ivory Syndicate?
I believe he is.
Because Regina said that she's been assigned to work with the Ivory Syndicate. So, is it a problem if we then say, oh, someone from the Ivory Syndicate who is kind of sounds like maybe under Kellyan's thumb?
But they're not. The Ivory Syndicate works for money and power.
Well, right now they're doing his bidding, right?
Some of them are.
I guess I'm just wondering, would it make more sense to make up a person than to pin it on a real person he might have knowledge of or that he could actually interrogate?
that might be.
Not to overwork this plan, but
No,
should
no,
we
no,
just
no, I
say
think
it
you're
was
right.
like a couple of guys in green cloaks or something, and you shot him and you shoved him over the edge of the spire, and Karina's gone.
Actually, I think that might be the safer bet.
Do you think they'll
Um,
read through that? Well, I guess we have to convince them one way or another.
And all you
Yeah.
got was a little finger.
Well, she wouldn't bring. Oh, I'll get you like a little. I assume in our shop of fancy things we have like little ornamental boxes.
Sure.
I feel like Regina's vibe would be to like bring, because she's gonna be like, you know, in these council chambers to like bring the box and be like, it's done.
Very clandestine.
So I do a little finger box.
Only show him from a well. It's her actual finger though. It's one of those like
Yeah.
little trick toys. She just has her
Because-
finger inside the box. It's
Six
like,
finger
hey,
thing.
look, it's here. Now it's not.
And the box has our shop's logo on it.
Right.
Regina gives a glowing endorsement.
Oh my God, what is going on?
We can
left
pin it
the rails a
on
couple
on, and then I just never become him again.
All right.
Constant
Our
ad loads
Ron.
for our shop.
Do we feel good? Do we feel like we have planned enough that we can move forward?
I would like to know who I'm pinning it on, just a little bit.
still
Can we
think
just
we
do an
should
insight
do
check collectively on like who can we pin it on?
Yeah, do it as a group.
Just like what group can we pin it on that it
Yeah.
would take them the most time to
I vote for that asshole.
I
not
got a
individual, just like what group they belong in.
10.
I got a 17.
Okay.
Is it history or insight?
Insight.
I got a dirty 20.
Nice.
Oh. And I got a 16.
Albatross got a floor dice.
Got a floor dice.
I'm sorry, what was
Insight.
Insight.
insight? Oh, so -1, yay.
So good.
What that is a 15.
All right.
As a group, there's a couple alternatives that come to mind. One, you could pin it on the Hubatt Corsairs because they fallen out of favor and seemingly have fled into hiding. You could also possibly pin it on the Hand of Ord because it's a generic term. It could mean anyone who is a member of the organization, and it may cause a bit of infighting from a perspective of who Kellyan can trust. Or it could simply be that, you know, the people that took him was a rival gang out of Hellcatch that got wind of a reward to retrieve Karina. Those are the 3 additional options that kind of pop to the surface.
There was also the like assassin group, the ones that had like the dark robes.
Yes, that was the group that you saw in the slums of the Smolder Spire.
They feel unaligned enough that they might be just like a good generic pick.
Make sure to describe them that way when you're telling them about it.
I
They seem
kind of
very-
like.
She was
I
in the
like
arms of
the-
these generic bad guys wearing black clothes.
Real
I like-
bad dudes.
I got really bad vibes from them guys.
I kind of like the idea of the Hand of Ord because it sounds like that creates some internal conflict.
Yeah.
Okay, would
I
Regina know
candidly-
anything?
I don't remember a ton about the Hand of Ord because it's been a while since I think we last talked about it. But
Does Karina feels like she knows enough about this group to be able to confidently talk about them?
Yeah, you know that they are responsible for the safety of Jamansa Ord. They are a very powerful group of people. It would make sense that some of them are currently in Jrusar because Jamansa Ord is here trying to convince the Chandei Quorum to turn away from a capital city of crime and fold more into the idea of maybe unifying under the guidance of Ankarel.
That sounds great. Maybe I can say that it was a group of those, like, unmarked assassins, and then one person that I recognized from there. So I'll just really make it vague enough that, like, they can't pin it out on a specific person.
So give me a baseline deception for your story. And I'll say because the group is helping you, you can have deception with advantage. Does anyone have guidance?
Maybe.
Well, if it's advantage, then it's 23.
nice.
The one thing I'm good at.
Yeah, I have guidance if that,
Do you
Yeah.
have guidance?
I do.
Okay, so I want to ask you guys, all my other tables are using a different rule for guidance so that it's easier to use. We turned guidance into an aura of effect, meaning as
Cool.
long as you're within 30 feet of Eritrea, you automatically just get guidance.
Ooh,
Hell
that's
yeah.
cool.
Oh, killer.
Mostly to preserve the sanity of the player, who constantly gets asked, "Can you cast guidance?"
Yeah. It's a cantrip, so
And
why
it's a cantrip.
not?
Yeah.
Oh
So
my
yeah.
God.
So homebrew roll.
Oh, hell yeah.
As long as you're within 30 feet of Eritrea, you have guidance.
So that's an extra D4 for you if you want to roll that on
Yep.
top of it.
Yep. Higher the better. This is your core deception attempt.
So that's 26.
Nice.
Awesome.
Good
Nice.
number. You guys watch as Karina changes into Regina, the exact likeness, down to the intricate detail of the sneer, the kind of resting bitch face, the swagger. She practices the form. She walks around and kind of runs her hand along the side of Forin's head and pulls out a dagger and just kind of gives her best Regina performance, pretending to skewer Foreign through with a dagger. And then she kind of prances around the room. She goes, "How do I look?"
I was ready to shoot you.
Perfect.
So, you guys leave the prancing Senator, and head out in the direction of the Core Spire. You get on the gondola that will take you all the way up to the administrative spire and council chambers. Well, this kind of looks familiar to you because it's kind of the route you took when you broke Karina out of imprisonment. Rather than going up into the tall singular tower, you instead head on the gondola that takes you to the platform entrance that is like the general access for all members of Jrusar that are allowed to come into the main council grounds and attend the council meetings. There are pews and audience chambers to allow people to watch the Chandei Quorum kind of, go back and forth about how they want to run the city. And this public displays become more important because Jrusar Ord has presented themselves as an opportunity to speak out to this. In fact, when you arrive, the place is packed. Like, just the grounds are packed. There's almost kind of like a festival vibe here, a celebratory vibe. People have set up, little kiosks and food vendors and little kind of carny style entertainment and games, and there's bunting and decoration and everything everywhere. There's huge brewery wagons set up where people are lined up to get their tankards filled with local ale or whatever local drink is presented to the people that are here. There's little banners up all over the place. There's a general vibe and feeling of excitement about Jrusar Ord being here and bringing the idea of Jrusar rejoining in the unification with Ank'Harel and establishing once again that Marquet is capable of managing itself, not needing the outside interference of others to solve their problems. So there's a sense of excitement. By the time you guys get into the main council chamber, it's full. It's packed with people. Up on the dais, you can see the 7 chairs where all the chamber people are supposed to meet. Down in the open platform where they walk and discuss with one another, there is Jrusar Ord standing next to the person that you imagine that the Bright Queen was speaking about. The person that is kind of responsible for protecting her while she's here. Let me pull that. Antique Warm Wind. You can see very much people of Ank'Harel and the desert. He's got long dreads pulled back in a ponytail. He's wearing kind of traditional vestments of his station. He doesn't seem to be wearing any kind of armor. He doesn't seem to be wearing any kind of weapon. You do recognize the sash of the Cobalt Soul around his chest, and his hands and the way he carries himself and his overall demeanor feels that he might be a monk. And kind of has this very passive, calm emotion about himself. And he seems to be speaking with Jrusar Ord and a couple of the more traditional Hand of Ord guards who are all wearing their white, silver, and blue armor with the visors on, carrying their arcane weapons at their hip, or you can see the arcane whips that are coiled up on their back. And they just seem to be kind of gathered down below. The council's not set to start for at least another hour.
I'm going to try and sidle up to him, to Antique.
It's going to be an effort.
I'm just going to work my way over to where he is.
Okay, so you're working your way down towards him. Karina, are you going to go look for Lord Kalian's chamber at this point?
Yeah.
Okay, so you're heading towards Lord Kalian. What are the rest of you doing while this is going on?
So she's already heading towards the chamber. So we sort of need to be close, it sounds like.
Yep.
Melody got a beer before Karina went in. She's kind of just creating a vibe like she's here hanging out, enjoying the festivities.
Are you doing that party girl nervous thing where you're...
I'd love to see Melody smoking cigarettes.
She's like, she's got a
candy
big
cigarettes?
tankard and she's just, chatting to everyone, but like keeping an eye on the place where Karina went.
Okay. Air Trio, Professor Jabatros, what are you two doing with your time now that you're in the Chandei Quorum Council area?
I kind of feel like I'm tagging along behind. Honestly, probably Ford, because Ford strikes me as a guy that doesn't blend in all that well here.
Right.
Like this might be a little out.
You mean
This kind of
two of you trying to blend in with a city council crowd? Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah,
I am a distinguished gentleman.
we will definitely not blend in with both of us together.
I'm a patrician gentleman, sir. I exude belonging in upper class environments.
Right.
I love how Professor
Gentlebird.
Look, people just don't know how important it is that they do know me.
Your
So,
college
Melanie,
ain't around
I'll
here,
say
so.
that you follow Karina to a point where you can stand, like the council chambers is down low with all these pews, like stadium style, kind of
Mhm.
parking up in like 20 rows that are all standing room only right now. From up on the walkway, you're looking down, and you can see the Forn and Jrusar are making their way through the crowd. Jrusar is staying a respectful distance, but Forn is kind of get his best down towards the walking area, the walking platform where the dignitaries are kind of gathered waiting for the council meeting to start. You watch as Karina goes down the circular hallway and in the direction of Lord Kalian's chambers. You're able to keep one eye on the chamber door that she's about to knock on in her Regina form. Eritrea, what are you doing?
I'm kind of, being the naive little boy that I am, I kind of trying to discover more about things I'm not comfortable with. So I'm trying to find some nefarious looking people that, I can maybe not so subtly try to convince to come to the ways of Sarah and Ray.
Eritrea is going to apostate. Okay. He's going to hand out pamphlets. I love it.
Yes.
D6,
Yeah.
D6 inspiration for that one. I love it.
This is what your mom would want.
Forn, as you get down to the floor, there are guards, wardens to be more specific, Chandei Quorum wardens, that are preventing anything but dignitaries into the area that you're trying to get to. The warden stops you. Something I can... And he looks at you like he's trying to figure out what you are. Is there something I can help you with?
Actually, I was looking to have a word with Mr. Wormsong over there, Antique.
And your name?
Fawn.
Fawn. I could make an inquiry, but don't hold up your hopes. Warden-
Perhaps relay that the Bright Queen has some information to pass along.
Well, he's like,
We gotta put Ford on a leash. What is going on? He just goes and talks to the most important person in every situation. Like,
So now, Jamon's Orb's here too, right? I'm just talking to Wormsong.
yeah.
You watch as so this is where my skills really get complicated. Because this is what you see happen, Forn. You watch as the warden goes over to Antique, and Antique is still speaking with Jamansa Ord. So the warden feels compelled to say out loud to Antique, there's someone by the name of Forn, a representative of the Bright Queen, wishes to speak with Antique, which triggers a response both from Jamansa Ord and Antique, where they both turn away from each other, look directly at Forn. Forn, give me a wisdom save, if you would, please.
Sure. A 3.
Are you within 30 feet of me?
No.
I don't know.
No.
Technically, it's a 1 plus 2.
Oh boy.
What is happening?
In that one.
Albatross, you watch, because you're far enough behind, you watch as 3 of the wardens kind of take Forn by the arms and escort him out of the chamber. You watch as he's escorted towards the exits. And as you're being escorted, Forn, the wardens are, please don't make this any more difficult than it has to be,
Oh
sir.
God.
Make
my good
what any more
citizens-
difficult?
citizens.
What's going on? I just want to talk.
People are now murmuring and whispering to each other. You watch as Forn is escorted to the entrance of the chamber and simply kind of tossed out onto the stairs. Your presence here is not required, and the doors are closed.
Oh,
Well, that's wonderful.
I love how Forn is so good at getting himself in trouble. I love it. So,
Thrown
Professor
out of places
Jabbercross, you
even.
just thought Forn get tossed. You're still in the crowd of spectators waiting for the council to start. Eritrea, give me a perception or insight. Your choice, perception or insight.
that's got an insight. Oh, nat 1, 7.
No.
What is
Two nat
happening?
ones in a
Holy
row.
crap.
Oh my
This is
God.
the exact opposite of the last game when we played.
Right? I
The
know.
last game we couldn't not roll a 20. This time we're Will Wheaton.
The
Brutal.
spiral is real.
Can't believe we succeeded so far, only to critically fail now.
As you scan the crowd of people watching, your eye catches a particular tiefling in the crowd. This tiefling, in your summation, clearly looks like a troublemaker. Somebody that could easily be swayed into your pathway. She looks dangerous.
No.
She looks exciting. She looks like she's probably a member of a criminal organization and definitely deserves the opportunity of your faith.
My good lady, have you heard about the great teachings of Serenade?
The tiefling kind of flourishes her cloak back and leans back. And she looks at you like a lioness looking at a lamb on a platter. Just, she's already had drinks with you, had an evening with you, and is now showing you the door. Her mind is racing through all the possibility and probability. She smiles and goes, "No, dear boy, why don't you sit down and tell me all about it?"
Well, I appreciate your enthusiasm.
Of course. I'm very enthusiastic. I look forward to seeing all that you have to offer.
Well, I must say, when was the last time you were at Temple?
And what you speak of.
Have you heard the good news?
Hello, my name is Elder Treo. I'd like to share with you this most amazing God.
It depends on what
Oh,
temple you speak of, whether it's Temple of Serenray or Cord or Bright Queen or the Raven Queen, or I don't know. Tiefling don't normally become very religious.
Well, I've come here to try to break that notion, and I believe you're one that would really like to be brought to the light. And then I cast light really cordially.
Oh my. The light of Serenray really shines deep inside you.
Yes, and I'm
you
just
watch-
beaming
she
right
kind of-
now because I do not understand sarcasm.
Right. And she kind of leans up against you and she kind of looks up into your eyes. Show me more, would you? She kind of clicks her teeth like she's taking a bite. Professor, you're watching all of this unfold. Like, because you're still in the crowd because Forn got the boot. So you're still in the crowd and you watch as there's a flash of light off to your left. You're not close enough to hear what they're saying, but for some reason, Eritrea's like flirting with a tiefling. You're not really sure why,
Right,
but he's like in the crowd of onlookers, kind of just lost to some weird conversation that's going on with this tiefling.
Can I, from where I am, can I see his little like Saren ray tracks that he's trying to hand out? I know you said I can't hear him, but
I mean, you can hear her respond to him because she's being purposefully like over the top, and
yeah, overly.
to you recognize she's playing with him. You get it.
Yeah.
But Eritrio's kind of a Drax, right? He takes everything literally. So he's like, he thinks he's helping her, as far as you could tell. I mean, he's an excellent judge of character through his insight. So clearly he's helping her.
Exactly. The professor honestly just kind of like, I can only assume that even in Arona, there's random horrible street preachers that come in that we're not allowed to like, beat up and send on their way like a civilized society would. And he's just like, oh. You're not on campus. You're not 100%. I just like start slowly making my way over towards them to like try to extract Eritrea.
Yeah, you're like, okay, how do I get Eritrea out of this? So you're making your way over there. Eritrea's engaged in an intense conversation with this tiefling. Karina, out of the corner of your eye, you can see Melody keeping an eye on the council chamber below and an eye on you. She's like, you know how like council chamber viewpoints be mostly open, but there's hallway points that begin where, like if you were to go to a theater or an amphitheater, there's always like these back way hallways, that are open at first and then they close off. So she's got a view of you standing in front of the chamber door at this point. A bronze plaque on the door announcing Lord Kellyan's full name.
Okay, I got all the information from Regina about just like how she approaches him, how what form she takes when she's around those situations, because I assume it's not her changeling form.
So I've got your deception. Now we're purely in either persuasion or performance. Which one are you going to lean on most?
And I would like to remind you that I have the actor's feat, which means whenever I'm pretending to be another person, I get advantage on that.
Yes, you do. Good reminder.
And what was the options? Performance
or persuasion?
Persuasion.
Okay. So we're going to stick with persuasion. You have advantage this entire time with persuasion because you have the actor's feat at this point.
Okay. It's over with.
Do you knock on the door?
Yeah, let me know when I need to roll the dice. Or I do whatever she told me to do to like according to whatever her protocol she gave me.
Okay. You knock on the door. You announce your name. Lord, it's Regina. The door clicks open. There's no one on the other side of the door. You push the door open, and then seated at a desk beyond and at length from the door itself, because I've forgotten how to use my keyboard, you can see a person sitting behind a desk, and you watch as a mage hand comes back from the door. It would appear that he used mage hand to open the door. Regina. Close the door, wouldn't you, dear? Come have a seat.
Okay. Should I roll for persuasion now, or should I wait?
Because you're not really convincing him of anything at this point. You're just playing the part. You look like Regina. You're acting like Regina. This is all your deception that's going on. That's that base number that you're operating with because everyone helped you put together this outfit, this idea of being Regina.
Okay, so I follow through.
You sit down and As he leans away from his desk, you watch as the journal and quill keep writing. You watch as the mage hand floats back over to close the door. He commands the quill and book to move over to another table to continue its writing. He leans back in his chair and kind of looks at you. I imagine you're here because you were successful last night. You dealt with the culprits, and is Karina back in our possession, or has she been dealt with?
She has been dealt with, and I kind of flash the finger.
Please set it on the desk for me. You watch as he closes his eyes, does a quick incantation. Yes, it is.
Tally, I know you're in character, but I need you to know the only way I can picture that is if you have the finger in your head, you just go.
If only I had the freedom to do this.
Puts it between her knuckles so it holds up
Yeah.
like that.
Because it, like,
She starts doing this.
Just,
He looks back at you. Well, unfortunate that was the only outcome. Who were the culprits that did such an excellent job of breaking her out of the tower chamber?
Well, when I reached her, she was surrounded by, and I described the 3 hooded figures and then one member of the Hand of
Ward.
Yeah.
Okay. Really? I wouldn't think that Jamansa Ord, that they would be so interested in Karina. Maybe there's more to this than even I'm not aware of. Interesting. Well, your responsibilities and your job here are done, Karina. He reaches into her drawer, pulls out a medium-sized bag of coin, and throws it on the desk out in front of you.
Very well. Until next time.
You kind of grab the coin. Yeah, you get up and start heading for the door. 1 minute, Regina.
Yes.
I have a thought. Before you go, there is a separate problem I have. And I was wondering if you could take care of it for me.
Interesting. What is it?
Well, if you would take a moment to come to the window and allow me to show you.
Okay, I walk to the window confidently.
Puts his hand on your back and shoves you out the window.
That's what I thought was going to happen.
No, I'm not dying this way again.
It's okay. Fern's down there. You got somebody to land on.
I noticed this gentleman one other place before. And he points out the window to a familiar face.
God damn it, Born!
And he points to Forn. He goes, there was an incident at the Grey Maker's auction. And I believe that gentleman there is both responsible and culpable for some of its outcome. I want you to find out who he's working with and who he's working for. And then I want you to arrange a meeting between me and him. Whether he wants the meeting or not, if you get my drift.
And what compensation do you offer?
That's what I love about you, Regina. Always to the point of the purpose of your skills. Shall we say 500 gold to keep an eye on him? And he goes to the drawer, pulls out another 500 gold and gives it to you. And let's say 1,000 gold for the meeting once it's set.
Kind of take it. Always a pleasure.
Of course. Well, good to see you, Regina.
Until next time. And
you head out the door. As you leave and you close the chamber door, you hear a dong, like a slight bell of 9 bell tolls. The other chamber doors begin to open. you kind of get out of the way and over to where Melody is standing. So you're standing alongside Melody, but not obviously standing alongside her, but kind of pretending to be in the crowd with her. And all the council members come out of their chambers, including Lord Callian, and this group of 7 descend down the different stairs. The excitement begins to kind of level and taper off. They all head down into the chamber pit to take their seats and take on the day's presentation to the council. Jamansa Ord even begins to look a little bit more serious with the arrival of the council. And there, for now, it's the pleasantries of council work. Just people getting up and speaking, people kind of nodding towards Jamansa Ord. There's all this formality going on. So you and Melody are kind of standing alongside each other. Jabatros is awkwardly trying to pull Eritrea away from a tiefling, and there's no sight of Forn anywhere in the chamber.
Eritrea, just for... I don't know if I've ever internalized this. I know your mother is like a secret that we don't know or we don't want to give away. But are you kind of obviously an Asimar, or are you kind of nebulously? You're muted. I can't hear you.
Oh, I think you're
on
muted,
mute,
Ryan.
right?
Yeah,
Yeah, your headphones died.
Yeah, I think you said.
Or the sound just cut out for some reason.
Yeah, I don't know.
Because we know
But
how
it
much
wasn't
the
just me.
gremlins love Ryan.
They do, man. No.
Well, we can hear you through Melody's
Alexa.
headset. Did you hit the button on your headset by accident? Maybe the mute button on your headset? No? I suspect your headset has decided to move against you.
It seems you have elected the way of pain.
Hello.
Okay.
Can you guys
Oh.
hear me?
Yes.
Yep, now we can hear you.
Okay. Yes, I am an ass. You can tell I'm an Asimar.
Okay, cool. Because my plan was to just go up to this tiefling and just be like, "Oh, I've never. How interesting. I don't know that I've ever found an Asimar in one of these gatherings. Young man, how old are you exactly? Because you're like 3, right? You're like
Yeah,
3.
I'm 2 years old. Yeah.
Just making it really creepy for the
The tiefling sees Professor Jalbatros come over. You watch as the tiefling's like, "Oh, I'm gonna go sit over there. You two can stay here." And she gets up and kind of quickly moves away, just kind of mumbling to herself
My
while
door's
walking away.
open. That's good.
But Karina, you and Melody are standing side by side.
I'm gonna do message, which I can do so long as I see someone within 120 feet. So anyone I can see, I'm gonna message. The operation was a success. I tell them about what he wanted from Forn. And I tell them that I am going to leave now and message Forn and just kind of follow him around and get out. And I recommend that we all try to either leave or just keep a low profile. And I kind of make the low profile part really, really just very pointed.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
What does that mean?
She can't see you. You're outside.
Yeah. No, you're getting a different message. And that one is going to be even more pointed.
So at this point, Melody, you watch as Karina leaves, still looking like Regina.
Mm-hmm.
In fact, you get the feeling she may have to remain looking like Regina for a while now, because she basically told you guys everything with the exception of Form being told, because she couldn't see him.
Mm-hmm.
But everybody else heard what happened between her and Lord Kalen. So you're heading out to go find Forn now, Karina?
Yes, I would also like to do detect magic on the gold to make sure that he doesn't have any spell on it.
Oh, you smart bugger. Is it,
I'm used to this nonsense.
Is it ritual or instant? Is it in your spell book or is it under your feats and features?
Detect magic, and it's 10 minutes.
Okay, so it's a ritual cast. We'll say as you're messaging everybody, you then get ready to ritually cast, and you cast detect magic. The bag that it gave you, there's a brass button on the bag that is giving off a detection of evocation, or no, divinity magic.
Am I able to identify it?
Do you have a spell for identifying?
Yes, I do. It will take me 10 minutes.
Nice. It is a location glyph that is currently on that. It would allow that bag to be located within a mile of the person who has it.
I'm not going to take it off yet because I want him to see me following Forn, but after that, I'm just going to put it on a squirrel or something.
Okay. That seems fair. You head out of the chamber, and you're standing at the chamber doors now that they're closed behind you, and looking down into the busy kind of festival-like atmosphere of the foreground. You can see Forn kind of quietly leaning up amongst some trees. Do you want to message him now that you can see him?
Yeah, I'm gonna message him basically all the information alongside the fact that actually I probably don't have that many words, but just
Remember, message is not limited by words.
Oh, true.
Message is limited by distance. Send is unlimited by distance, but limited by words.
Perfect. So I just let him know that that this person is watching us right now, maybe, and following us within a mile. If he could kind of like walk away, and I will be seen following him, and we can figure out how to proceed from there.
You're on mute. Sorry. So what Forn gathers from that is that he should try to run away, right? He should try to get away from you.
No,
I mean,
just
at least putting on a show. Like he should look like he's like something isn't right and kind of try to take off real quick.
I would argue the opposite. I think she's trying to have you pretend like nothing's wrong and that she's secretly following you.
Gotcha. Well, yeah. I mean,
that way
we're not coming to talk to each other and then leave. Yeah.
Yeah, and then after we're outside of like the 1 mile range, we can regroup again. But I just need him to think that I'm Regina and that I'm doing what he told me to.
Yeah, that's excessive. I mean, you'd have to go pretty far. You'd either have to go all the way over to the Smolder Spire or all the way up to the Airy Spire to get out of range.
Well, I'm for sure. I mean, if I know that information, then I would for sure start towards the Smolder Spire.
Okay.
Because where else to give them an idea that we're staying some weird place that's easily hidden, full of unseen types.
So, Forn and Karina, give me deception with advantage, if you would, please, as you play out this ploy like you're being followed by Karina and you don't know she's following you.
Man, that's a crit fail. That's an 8.
An 8. Did you roll with advantage?
Wait, with advantage?
Oh, not with advantage. Oh my god, thank God.
I had a dirty 20.
Okay.
And that's... Oh, that's 8 plus 8, so that's a 16.
16. Okay. You two are now gone to manage this ploy that you're taking. Melody, you're kind of left in the chamber watching Eritrea and Professor Jabaltros walk up towards you. So I'll say the three of you are kind of back together again, either considering what Karina said, or you're free to do anything else. Right now, it sounds like Jamansa Ord is getting ready to speak to the council, is what sounds like about to happen.
So, Eritrea, my boy, I understand you're trying to spread the good word of your...
The good word.
Right? The people that are interested in this, they don't... Most of them are either being polite or they're actively trying to have intercourse with you.
All right, Professor, you get D6 inspiration for sexual education, for sex ed. Obvious, awkward professor-like sex ed commentary.
Coming from an archaeology professor.
right?
who's also a bird, right?
Yeah.
Well, he's
The birds and the bees.
technically a bird.
He's a gentle bird. That's such
Yeah,
a
the Disney bird and the scholar.
Hey, I mean, look, I'm the one that's telling this. Albatross is mate for life. Like I'm the exact like the one that the conservative, well-meaning parent that's just like, oh sweet Christ.
Oh,
So
God.
what do you call it instead of the birds and the bees?
I don't know what's a fantasy D&D
Rabbits?
The bugbears.
Griffins and the
You're
I
a
don't
bird person, right? So I would assume you wouldn't call it birds and bees.
The goblins and the
uh,
kobolds?
There's bugbears.
Oh,
know.
So three of you are still in the chamber. It looks like Jamansa Or's about to speak. You even notice that crowd's kind of getting a little quiet.
We'll stay and listen to what he's
Yeah.
going to say.
Yeah.
Jaman is very tall. They are very kind of slim with long brown brass colored hair. Their copper skin and they have a very kind of like deep and rich looking complexion, and they flourish when they move. Jaman stands there, and as they look about the crowd of the folk and staring at the council members, people of Jrusar, council members, and those seeking the curiosity of my fortune. I travel far from Ank'Harel. I've been here for many days. I wept with you after the disaster in the Smolder Spire. The bright light of Ank'Harel shines brightly. A lesson that I learned from some good friends of mine long ago. You would know them as Vox Machina. Taught me the importance of friendship and unity. Too long has Jrusar been subject to the syndicates of crime and the improprieties of the outside world. We in Marquet are an ancient people. We have been here through calamity, divergence, and the most recent near destruction of our relationship with the gods. I want to offer a new story. As the era of reclamation has closed, a new era is to be made. And I believe it's an era that should be led by the free peoples of Marquet. There's a brief murmur amongst the crowd. The council members look at each other inquisitively. A few claps and excited whistles coming from the crowd. The idea that somebody would declare Marquet the free peoples, the idea of a unified Marquet, there's a new sense of energy and excitement in the room. They look at the crowd. I see all of you here. I see nomads from the Hellcatch. I see wildlings from the Odorins, former Stratos soldiers. I see you there as well. Those that call the Agrad Mountains home, I see you. Those that live in the Ashnador, the Panagrip, and the Talland Highlands, the Islands of Dusk. We are the caretakers of the Sea of the Osmit. We are the caretakers of the Beryl Sea. We are the caretakers of Marquet. And Marquet deserves our love. There's this strange sense of calm emanating in waves from Jamansa Ord. Almost as if this magical flow of energy is both kind of lifting people up and calming them at the same time. For too long, I've sat in my ivory tower of the Cerulean Palace in Ankarel. And for too long, have I ignored the calls for change. The time has come. The time for representatives of the Hellcatch, the Talland Highlands, the Ashnador, the Panagrip Sands, and Jrusar, height of the Odoran Wilds, and the Anagrad Mountains to come together. Unify under one banner of Marquet, its capital city, Ankarel, and to begin this new era of progress for our people. We should unify in our strength. We should unify in our might. We should call on friends and allies to give us the support that we need to bring this dream to reality. Whether by book, by sword, or by the hand of friendship, unification is required for our survival. No longer can we be at the behest of joke and inquiry by other communities that think that we are nothing more than a place of safety for those who do ill to the rest of the communities. I bring a gift. I bring the gift of peace to Jrusar in hopes that this will spur you to become the first to join in this unification. You know, I visited the deep of the Lucidian Sea, not far from the Shattered Isles. And I saw it for the first time. A great rock monolith sticking out of the middle of the sea that once was never there. No one even knows where it came from. An effigy of a mighty warrior bearing the mark of Helm, looking up towards the heavens as if to be in a state of euphoric saving of the world. I was inspired by it, and as I stood there from the deck of the ship and watched this amazing display, I thought to myself, of all my friends and all my allies that have helped save this world we call Exandria, whether you find yourself thinking about those groups that defeated Vecna, or those that prevented the toxic city's return and the near destruction of Wildmont, or the beacon being returned to the Bright Queen. And even now I hear stories that a brave group had determined it was best to convince the gods to flee rather than suffer the egregiance of staying. And here I was on the ship thinking about all these amazing sacrifices and these deeds that have been done to give us this one opportunity. A single opportunity to unify ourselves under the banner of all of their sacrifices. Usher in this new era of both progress, peace, and unity. You watch as the first council member stands. I'm not really sure if this will work. Aye, but I'm in. Another council member stands. I'm in as well. And then another, and another, and another. You watch as the crowd begins to cheer with a loud sense of fulfillment and whistle. All 6 of the council members are standing, except for one. Jaman pays no attention, but the 3 of you are paying attention. Lord Callian sits there with a fuming look on his face, staring at Jamansa Ord like a cat that needs to kill a canary. And Jaman's so lost in the adulation of those that are standing and cheering, and this overwhelming sense of agreement pouring out amongst the crowd. Callian sits in his chair, looks around, scowls, slowly edges out of his seat, and disappears into the back hallways of the chamber. The crowd is raucous. There's this feeling that's overcome the crowd, and eventually the crowd bursts at the seams and carries itself back out into the festival that's going on outside. You watch as the Hand of Ord take defensive positions up at the perimeter, and Jamansa Ord is going to each council member, shaking their hand, and you watch as the chambers are kind of emptied so that privacy can be maintained and had as the council begins to discuss the accords with Jamansa Ord. Melody, Eritrea, and Professor Jalbatros, you find yourself out in the busy grounds of the Chandei Quorum. People are drinking, laughing, celebrating. You can hear them talking in groups or yelling at each other in groups. Finally, the syndicates will be done away with. Finally, real prosperity will come to the city. There's this sense of euphoric celebration going on amongst the crowd around you. What would the 3 of you like to do next?
Well, that sounded pretty good, but I don't really get why all the council members agreed. It seems like, aren't they all pretty much knotted up in this crime syndicate stuff? Like, did he talk to them in advance? It just seems really weird.
I agree. This seems. I don't think we're getting the whole picture here. This seems a little bit unusual.
And if what Regina said is true, and Jamansa Ord is really a doppelganger, who are they working for? Does Jamansa Ord, have they walked away at this time, or are they still sort of mingling?
The chamber's all closed up. You guys are out.
We're just standing outside.
Yeah,
now.
you're outside now, in the grounds, the garden area, where all the celebration and festivities are. I love it when
boys. I don't know what pissed off one of them, but give me.
you guys are outside. The chamber doors have all been shut up so that the council and Jamansa Ord can go over the details of the plans and the accord.
Mm-hmm.
That man is dangerous. Having that type of persuasion is dangerous.
Yeah, I felt like really calm while they were talking. I don't know
almost
how they
started
did
cheering
that.
at one point.
Yeah. It looks like our plan worked with Kalian since he just slipped out without approving.
Are we worried what's going to happen to him now, though?
I don't feel that worried about Kalian. It's not my biggest concern. So what do we do next? If we want to get to the bottom of this, we have to figure out if what we heard about Jamon is true.
And I think it's important if Karina, if she was able to form some sort of bond as Regina with him, maybe more information can be found out through him.
Mm-hmm. Should we head back towards our place?
I think we should. Yes.
I'm going to pick up some hair dye on the way home.
There's actually a little purveyor, because they're handing out little packets of dye because people are using it as a means of celebration. You pick up a dozen packets of dye with like any color of your choosing, and it costs you a gold coin to pick them up.
Perfect. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, fantastic. I'll happily hand over the gold.
Okay.
Melody just heard like the equivalent of like the Emancipation Proclamation. It's just like, I need hair dye.
I feel inspired.
So true. Karina and Forn, you eventually get to that one beyond a mile condition, but you're in the kind of cloistered warehouse district of the Smolder Spire, and the two of you are now together as Karina, you bring Forn completely up to date on what happened and what your plan was to get you. And Forn, you're looking at the gold bag with the brass button on it to close the leather tie. Mm-hmm. And that appears to be enchanted with a location glyph.
I'm gonna just like tie the button onto some random rats and let them go. Also, does that mean that I have 1,000 gold now?
Yes, you have the 500 gold for killing Karina and showing proof, and you have 500 gold for tracking Forn.
I love it.
Karina share it?
He's not going to tell you that he ever received it.
Yeah.
See, this is where Professor Jabaltros is at a huge disadvantage because I am flat broke right now, but he has grown up like the child, the fledgling of luxury. Like he has no concept of money. So he's not going to come back to bite him in a while.
I mean,
oh sure,
overqualified, overeducated, and underpaid.
Well, not so much that. It's more like obviously my money from trauma didn't transfer to him, but like I've spent like basically everything because he's like, oh, surely I'm a wealthy, erudite college professor in this way that doesn't really exist in the real world. But he's the ultimate Republican. Yeah, he's the ultimate like evil Republican fantasy, like rich college professor, rich gay bird college professor. But yeah, it's just like, so he's like, yeah, whatever. Oh, absolutely, I'll give you my last. It's like all but like 30 gold for my new hammer or whatever. That's fine. I'll deal with it.
So Eritrea and Melody and Professor Jabaltros are heading back to the Prancing Centaur. Karina and Forn are in the Smolder Spire.
Well, if we are to stay here, do I need to keep pretending to be Regina and go through with this? Do you even want to talk to this person?
How did you feel about him? Because...
Sorry. I realized that was my
Jabaltros family.
Marking some
giving more money to him.
I thought that was the sound of inspiration, right?
Yes, there you go.
How do I feel about him? Like, how did I feel? What's the vibe I got from him?
From Kallian?
Yeah.
What's your passive insight?
My passive insight.
Should be
Above
right by
10.
your passive
Above 10.
perception.
Above 10.
Thank you. It's 15.
15 is actually
Hey.
pretty good. He is a true politician in the sense that you got the vibe that he likes being in control, and currently he thinks he is in control. You don't unfortunately know about what happened at the council chamber with Jaman Saord, so you're not sure. You're not sure he's trustworthy at all. And that he's got some ulterior plan that's ongoing.
Okay. I tell that to Forn.
So it sounds like he's probably going to want me to kill somebody.
Well,
I mean, that tends to be. Look,
I
the
mean,
guy
he recognizes-
at the Dawnfather Temple, that strange fella there, obviously sound like he want me to perhaps kill somebody. I mean, I guess having a name for being the guy that kills somebody is not so much a bad thing, but I really don't know. That's what I'm trying. Well, whatever.
Did I get a sense that he specifically wanted Forn for like a job, or did I get a sense that he wanted Forn because he wanted to know what happened in the Greymaker auction?
Felt like a little bit of both. Somehow he figured out Forn was involved in that. You're not sure how, but he's clearly figured it out. And if he wanted you to kill, he would have just told Regina to kill him. And he didn't tell Regina that. You get the feeling that he genuinely wants to speak with Forn.
Considering how precarious our situation is, and the fact that he is a powerful spellcaster, I would be concerned about him being able to check your memories and to see that, obviously, I am not Regina. You are more involved than he could probably imagine, and a lot of stuff are happening that he would not like. At the same time, if I am concerned about what is our next move. I would like to just get Karina out of Dodge. After that, I owe you guys, and I'll just kind of go along with whatever you guys need to get done to move your agenda forward.
What if we try this? And I pull out another token. You could return to Kallion with a token. We've spoken. I could speak to him as well, but I could also spy on him with it. And if he really wanted to, I assume he could scry on me with the token. I won't go back to the Prancing Centaur tonight because I don't want him to perhaps spy on me while we're all together.
I will do that for you, but you should know that after that, me and Karina are leaving town, and I'm going to prioritize figuring out what to do so she can have a normal life.
Normal life. I sorry, I don't laugh to be flippant.
Only
But
2 weeks.
Corinna, this life is anything but normal.
She can still have a normal life.
Don't let me get your hopes down, then. All right.
Very well. And I will take the token. I do want it to take a little bit longer so he doesn't suspect that this is like too fast.
That's fair.
So I will give it some more time, and I will just go back to Karina.
Okay. So you'll wait until maybe early evening to return it to Kaylin, and then
Yeah, and then overnight, I think we're gonna take the skiff and either look for some place in the map that we can just kind of be off for a while, or go to the parents and see if there's a chance that Karina would like to go back to them.
okay.
I'll send a message to. I think Eritrea has one of my tokens. So I'll send a message to him through the token and just say, I won't be back tonight. It's nothing serious. Just could be scryed on. Don't want to be there when it happens.
Okay.
Message received. I let Melody and Javatrust know.
You guys are back at the Prancing Centaur. You guys pretty much have the day to do whatever you want. I know Karina's got her day planned, and Foreign, you have some day left if you want to do something while waiting before coming back to the Prancing Centaur. Anything you want to do until the following day?
Foreign would walk back to where all the reconstruction, whatever's going on from the explosion and the fire, and just kind of walk through what's left of the remains there. And then eventually find like an inn or a pub or tavern, whatever, to stay in for the night.
Okay.
I'm assuming that they're closed for business for the day. The library that I wanted to take a look at, are they still open by chance? Can I make my way up there? The Crystal Chant for
The over at the Core Spire, the one that's closer to the Chandei Quorum Council Chamber.
Yes, it was the. I think the name of it was the Crystal Chant. So the professor wants to head there if he's able to.
Yeah. Let me. Where is it? That was not the Airy Spire. Hold on, let me find my notes on that one so I can.
I didn't get where the spire was. It just says it's affiliated with the Chandei Quorum, and that they might know a thing about something I wanted to talk to him. I did not get the
the Crystal Chant is located in the Prism Emporium that's located alongside the Chandei Chambers. If you leave from the Chandei Quorum Chambers and go directly there, you could spend the remainder of your day in the libraries there.
Okay. So that's what I want to do because I wanted to ask them about finding a way to communicate with Rimnus, and I just want to talk to Eritrea and Melody, just be like, hey, we're nearby. I was given the advice to check this library for some information I might need. I shall attempt to join you back at the Centaur tonight, but if not, I'm sure I can find somewhere to accommodate myself.
Okay, have fun with the books and stuff.
and like Melody's like got her little cotton, like her little linen sack filled with dye, and she's got her tankard of ale. She's got the full-blown party girl look going on, and see you later.
Melody's like transparently relieved that you're not asking us to come with you to the library.
So Eritrea, Melody, you get back to the Prancing Centaur, and you do you want to just help the shop run for the day until everyone eventually either comes back or the following day at this point?
I kind of want to clean up our dorms and our whole hideout a little bit, because there's been a lot of action there in the last day. And I'd kind of like to make some things are straightened up and nothing looks suspicious over here. It's all clean, and maybe if we have extra time, we could go find some more art or something, Melody.
Just some holes in the walls.
Yeah.
We're
just hanging pictures over giant holes in the wall.
Yeah, it makes sense. What are you doing, Melody, for your remainder of the day?
I'm gonna go talk to Karina, and Melody's gonna offer to give her a makeover if she'd like, sort of a transformative makeover. Look a little different, feel brand new. Be sure the hair dyes be like, I think you'd be cute blonde.
Eritrea, you're inside cleaning up the place, but you started with the veranda that needed a lot of cleaning up. There was a lot of griffin poop and griffin feathers on the veranda. So you kind of clean all that up. And you're inside cleaning up, and you're watching as Melody and Karina are just doing the full Gossip Girl thing. Her hair's being done up. She's getting her hair cut. She's she's sitting in a chair with this big cloth wrapped around her to keep her her clothes clean, and they're just going back and forth and gossiping and doing all this stuff, and you're just standing there looking at the mess that they're making. They're just completely destroying your clean veranda all
I
over.
pulled out
again.
like all of my clothes I pulled out of my room, and it's like all over sort of our like main sitting room. I'm like, do you want to try this? Do you want to try this?
Karina kind of looks over at Eritreo and kind of looks at you, Melody. Eritreo's kind of a unique looking person. He's not like all of... What is he?
We think his mom is a goddess, which is pretty cool. He won't admit it, but like he's basically admitted it. So I guess he's
Oh.
like an Azamar,
Oh, what's an Azamar? Is that like...
like an angel. You should see his
Oh.
wings pop out. It's pretty cool.
Oh, like, do they pop out when he's excited or when he fights?
Oh.
How does it work? I'm
Yes.
confused. Like, how does that work? How does someone just pop out wings?
It's a really good question. I feel like it's mostly when he means it to, and then sometimes when he gets really surprised, just kind of like.
Well, okay. I mean, could you make him do it for me? I'd like to see.
Melody would be game to go and try. I'll go.
Okay.
Melody will try and, with her disadvantage on stealth, try to like clop up behind him and like tickle him in the back.
Yeah. Like, for you, Airtro, you could hear Melody trying to sneak up on you. You
Maybe,
feel
like,
her
just
fingers
sneak up
like
and then like
in
try
your
and
ribs,
tickle
like,
you in the back.
yeah, like tickle you and like go at your ribs.
My
You're
wings
not
just
surprised at all.
but still, I
mean,
know
you
what
can make
she's
your
on
wings
to,
pop out if
and I
you
make
want.
them
Yeah.
pop out. go,
I got
"Oh,
you.
Melody.
You're so surprised.
Oh, Melody, you trickster."
Melody's super pleased with herself.
Yeah, you head back over, and Korean's like, "Wow, how long
Very
have you
sweet,
been
right?
together?"
Oh, no, we're not together. He's like a little naive for me. But
Gotcha.
yeah.
So
but
he's not really into anybody right now?
Oh,
I mean, he's available if that's what you're asking.
Well, I just, you guys did save me, and I don't necessarily want to tread on anybody's toes, but I mean, look at that, exotic and wings, and he's basically a god boy on top of it. I mean, it's like the perfect date. You don't have to worry about anything.
You should ask him about Sarenrae. He really loves that.
You know what? Tonight at dinner, I will see if maybe he wants to go for a walk later on tonight.
We just fully changed genre. Now that's what we're doing. We're doing rom-com.
Yes.
Professor Jabaltros, give me an investigation roll, if you would, please.
All right, investigation.
moving forward,
Ooh, that's 20.
When my wings come out, can it be like a boing sound?
It's better than shooing.
Jeez.
All right, sorry to interrupt you, Eric.
No, that was perfect. That was the right kind of interruption. I'm not
Exactly.
gonna lie about that. Definitely. right
Nat
kind.
20, total of 22.
Nice. You find an interesting book. There's a pretty in-depth religious section in this library. It's more of a library that focuses on arcane study. There's a section of divinity, and that's the section that you find a book that appears to be about the eagle god Remnus.
Mhm.
You pull it off the shelf. You take it over to one of the the nearby tables and you open it up. It's called The Wings of Divinity, the Sacred Chronicles of Remnus. And it appears to be almost like a mixture of journal, poetic writing about the origin, as well as the understanding of how the faith is tied to it. You flip through the book. There's a ceremony that you come across. It's called the First Skyward Gaze. It's basically a summary of an ancient legend kind of describing how mortals first beheld the great eagle deity soaring above the natural world. It would appear that Remnus is an eagle god of the material plane. However, at some point, this eagle god fled the material plane and sought out the sanctity of something called the Eyrie, which is an ancient civilization of a citadel called Skyborn, and it's believed to be the first remnant of Aarakocran existence. And from there, he brought forth the creed of the Skyfather, the idea of vision, the ability to see beyond the present, the idea of honor, code of truth, righteousness, demanding loyalty and courage, and then flight. Not just physical ascension, but the spiritual enlightenment that comes with those Aarakocran believers in the idea of the Skyfather. There's a little blurb about a ceremony called the Trials of the Windblessed. And then there's a section of the book that focuses on something called the Eternal Watcher. And this Eternal Watcher is believed to watch from celestial heights and is said to be the watcher of Aarakocran society via the God Eagle's new kind of shifting from the material plane and shifting into the realm of Aarakocran and kind of transforming his belief into the Skyfather, and how he has kind of become this idea of something that watches over Aarakocran society.
I'm being attacked by my natural predator right now.
I know. So, Forn, you begin to examine what little bit of debris and remains there are in that section of the Smolder Spire. Nobody's really paying you much mind. The construction is kind of wrapping up for the day. People are putting away tools and gathering up their equipment and their kit. Give me investigation, if you would, please.
Yep. That's not bad. That's 17.
17. You wander over to a section of the Smolder Spire that appears to have not gotten much work done yet. It's still the charred remains of two buildings and collapsed walkways from above the two buildings that have kind of collapsed into it. It appears to be a workshop of sorts. One building appears to be the preservation of foods. Another building appears to be the making of ceramics and containers that maybe the food would be stored in. It's all kind of shattered, burnt, broken, and kind of all over the place. There is a messenger bag hanging on a hook underneath some of the debris that leaned up against the wall, so no one noticed it. You noticed it because the brass buckle of the strap kind of catches the setting of the sun and flickers so that you see it. You head over, and it's soot covered, like it survived the fire. It's got documents inside of it. That's about the only interesting thing you find in here.
I'll kind of just throw it over my shoulder and head out to see if I find a tavern, and
Okay.
then might spend time poring over those documents at the table.
Okay. You find a nearby tavern. You sit down at an empty table. It's not a very big place. The place is called the Spark. It's maybe can hold up to 30 people. It's got a small second floor inn, and it's very ad hoc kind of presentation. You open up the satchel and you begin to rifle through the documents. Give me another investigation roll.
Yep. Oh, that's better. That's I think it's a 22. Double check.
Okay.
Yep, 22.
Okay. As you're going through the documents, most of the documents are inventory documents. Documents that focus on the receiving of special products and strangely named products. Give me either a medicine or a nature check of some of the listings of these products.
That's let's see, nature or medicine. Medicine, because I got a +2 instead of +1, so that's a 19.
The first item on the list is called Widow's Grief. It is a venom derived from a rare desert spider. Another one on there is called Basilisk Bile, which is distillation of basilisk venom. Another one is called Blood Rot Toxin, a kind of corpse venom that comes from carrion creatures that consume corpses. And then the one that kind of catches you is another one called Hollow Breath. It's more of a gaseous poison. These seem to be a list of toxic chemicals. It's also commingled with other sheets of paper or parchment that list things like foodstuffs, drinking, beverages, and pre-made kind of preserved rations, and all sorts of general good foodstuffs that would be an easy purchase or an easy sell. The most interesting thing is the last letter that you find in the satchel. It's also a map attached to it. And there's a list of locations on the map. One of them is a place called the Gujar Sarai, located on the border of the Hellcatch Valley. Another one is King's Fall, the capital of Hellcatch. There's another one called the Chirping Oasis, which is north of Ankarel. There's one that is called Dorizia, which is the kind of pseudo capital of the Agrid Mountains. And the last one on the list is a place called the First Cities, a kind of border region location between Ashnador and the Panagrip Sands. The letter does not show who it's addressed to or who it's from. It's simply a series of instructions. Per our conversation, Here are the list of provided alchemical products. Be sure that the quantities and foodstuffs are balanced appropriately, and see to it that these items get delivered to the following locations attached on the map that I've provided. Once completed, come to the Ivory Spire, to our previous location, and I will pay you handsomely for the job. No signature, no marking, no nothing.
Can I spend some time pondering on it to like cast detect magic, ritual cast detect magic?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, nothing
See
magical about the
nothing's coming
bag
off of it at all?
yeah,
Okay.
nope, nothing on the parchment, nothing about the ink. It all seems pretty much just a lot of inventory, a letter, a map, instructions.
And the letter detailed what place got what things?
No, not necessarily. Just the letter was confirming the delivery of the chemicals, and to see to it that the agreed upon a plan is carried out in a balanced way.
Okay.
So whoever this was delivered to was someone that probably already knew what they were doing with these chemicals, but it would appear it got destroyed in the fire. Just the messenger bag containing the information and instructions did not.
I'll like if there's a barmaid or a tavern keeper, whoever's kind of serving the tables, when they come over, I'll try and ask them about the place where I picked this up, like that area. What who was known to be in that area? What was just some more information about that place?
Give me persuasion on that one, if you would.
Sure.
Please.
I'll take that. That's a dirty 20. Now I'm rolling just great. I rolled ones earlier, get thrown out of the dang place.
The caretaker bringing over drinks. Yes, sir. Oh, that old place. Well, if I do recall, do you know that the shady individual goes by the name of Crimp? That used to be one of his alchemical depots that he used to use. Unfortunately, I think it went up in the fire, and we haven't seen him back around here since. He would come into this place from time to time when he used to work in there. He worked with a lot of alchemicals for his clockwork stuff. I think he's more in the slums of the Smolder Spire now.
Really? So, this may sound odd, but whenever Crimp came in, did he...
I work in a tavern. I hear it all.
I'm sure you do. This doesn't mean the question won't be odd. Did he look the same every time he came in, or sometimes was he a little bit different?
Well, now that you mention it, there was always something a little bit off about his personality. Sometimes he seemed like he was the previous time. Other times it was almost like you were talking to a different person. But, I mean, it was the same person, was it? I mean, can't imagine. But, yeah, he was always an odd person. He'd always order the same thing every time he came in, though. A beer, a piece of bread, a piece of cheese. And he'd always finish it with a glass of port. I mean, he dropped coin. I mean, he was always a questionable fellow. Very hard to look at with all of his disfigurements and his changes in his physical appearance.
The eye color thing is pretty odd, right?
Yes, it is. And, you know, the sounds of his augments kind of... It puts some of the patrons in an odd state, but they're all working class individuals. They stuck to themselves.
Did he ever stay here? Did he just stop in to eat?
No, always stopped in to eat on his way home, wherever that is.
Right. Interesting. Well,
I haven't seen him since the fire.
I have. Don't worry. He survived.
Oh, that's good to know. He was a good patron.
I'll let him know next time I talk to him. Your rooms here, they're for rent, I hope.
I have a couple left, yeah. Don't have much cause for their use. No one's really working this section of the Smolder Spire right now.
I can imagine. Well, really, I mean, I'd imagine the construction crews, perhaps.
Oh, no, they don't stay here. They work here, but then they go home.
Ah, understandable. Well, perhaps I can afford your board for a good night. I would like to not be disturbed if that's at all possible.
A single room occupancy for you, 5 gold.
Right, and I'll hand it over plus whatever the dinner, whatever the bread and whatever I've had here costs.
Okay. So you hand him 6 gold.
Okay.
He hands you a key. You head upstairs. Professor Jalbatros, you find accommodations in the library. They actually are used to academics staying the night in the library. And we'll say you actually find a pile of books of interest and you take them back with you to your accommodation. Karina, it's nighttime. You stand outside of Caledon's door, ready to fulfill your part of the bargain. Do you knock?
Same as last time.
Okay. You hear the clicking of the door opening, the familiar sign of him sitting behind the desk, fierce, like just writing intensely in his journal. He looks up to see you. Regina, wasn't expecting you to be back so soon. Is everything okay?
Yes, I did as you asked. And I tell him, whatever time arrangement Thorn and would like to meet him in.
Well, that's what the token's for.
Yes, and I give him the token.
He looks at the token and he looks at you. Interesting. I've dealt with a person like this before. I know this magic. And my hunch was right. He is a bounty hunter. Don't think I should be too surprised by that. Here's the rest of your earnings, Regina. He slides another bag of coin towards you, the balance of what he owes you.
I hope to hear back from you soon.
Yes. Whatever you do, don't go far, Regina. I may call on you again.
As always.
You head out the door. Jalbatros sets into an evening of reading. Eritrea, Melody, and Karina and other Karina are back together again at the Prancing Centaur.
And I am gonna do, again, detect magic on the gold. If there is something to track me with, the same deal.
Not on this one.
So, before he turns in, the professor's just saying, okay, this is all fascinating. This is the great history. Anything about communicating? Why is there nothing in here about him only speaking bird?
Before you go up to your room, you're about to settle in for a rest, and you hear a message in your head. I suppose I'm speaking with Fawn. Regina gave me your token. Shall we meet tonight? I have a target for you. A very important and a very well-paid bounty that I think you will find very interesting. And that's where we're going to finish tonight. Oh my God, that was so much fun. I'm glad we're all back. Are we all good for next week?
Yep.
Always.
Should be, yeah.
I'm not.
Oh,
Oh.
I'll be the last one for a little while then.
what? Volleyball practice?
No, No, to be honest, I'm a big film nerd, and it's the Academy Awards, and I want to watch Conan do
The
awards.
Academy
I know.
Awards.
I know.
I live in
Conan's
California
hosting.
and I don't even watch that. Let alone
Conan's
admit
hosting.
to it.
That's
Yeah,
sacrilege.
I
That's
mean-
like me not watching.
It is Conan, though.
Yeah, if it was Jimmy Kimmel, I'd be like,
Yeah.
yeah.
That's what that big REC button's for. Record.
I know.
Also, I'm gonna say, didn't you say last time that we might get up a level?
I don't remember that. No.
We didn't do it right. We fucked it up, you guys. We missed something.
Oh,
But if he has to miss last week, we can resolve whatever
Yeah,
fuck was
because
about to go on in front of Mason.
Alexa can bring her one-shot character into it, and we can do part 2 of Hellfire and Rubble next week. So yeah, we'll do that next week.
I'm worried that part 2 is just all of us dying since we barely beat Mason at level 20.
We'll have to see
Hey,
what
Rep.
happens, won't we? All right, everyone. We will do our part 2 one-shot next Sunday. But other than that, be safe, be kind, and don't forget, play a game. You guys go ahead and linger. Everyone else, good night. One of these days.